You're not afraid to try, you're just stuck in analysis paralysis. All you're constantly doing is thinking and thinking and thinking about your next move, when you want to start, how you're gonna start. But people always get it wrong. Being an entrepreneur and having your own business is not like playing chess. You don't strategically place your pawns. What it really is, it's about repetition. I made a short form video about this, but I wanna go more in depth about the psychology behind why you try, why you attempt to try, and why most people fail. You hear of so many people trying things, attempting things, starting a new business, starting this, having an idea. Nobody's afraid to try or to think about trying, think about their first move, think about starting, but what it really comes down to is action. When it comes to doing the thing, when it comes to actually pulling through, people just get stuck in their thoughts. There literally is no perfect start. It's always messy. It's always messy. Every single business I've ever attempted, it's been a messy start. Nothing ever went the way I wanted it to. But that did not stop me from continuing to learn, continuing to try, continuing to develop my skills and get better. I always knew the better I get every single day, it's all going to accumulate for me in the future. But don't get me wrong, of course I've been stuck in analysis paralysis. I've been stuck in that cycle so many times. It is a part of every entrepreneur's journey. My very first business I built with my husband right after we got married. We decided to resell sneakers. And let me tell you, we did that with no knowledge. We just hopped right in. The first couple of months were the worst months. Okay, it was like super messy. But we knew if we just got better at what we were doing and understood it a little bit more every day, well then of course we're gonna be where we want to be. Of course we're gonna make the money that we want to make. And this message isn't about like failure. What you need to know about failure is literally essential. Every business person has failed 100, 200, 300, 400 times. But the persistence that they continue to have through that failure is what gets them to where they want to be. This message is about being stuck in analytics. After my husband and I built up some inventory and some income and things were going well with our business, at every point in our journey, whether we were up or down, you always get stuck in the analytics. What's gonna happen in the future? What if I don't do this right? What if this happens? All these what ifs. And that's what a lot of these analytics are. If we don't make $10,000 this next month, what's gonna happen? What are we gonna do after that? And you know what? Some months were really good and some months were literally terrible. We would barely break even. That's just what being an entrepreneur is, that a lot of people are not ready for. They get stuck in those, well, if I don't make this much money, then I'm wasting all my time. But that's something you need to fix. Every athlete that plays every single day gets better and better by day. Time accumulates every single day. If you eat healthy, you're obviously going to look great. Every single day, if you eat unhealthy, you're obviously not going to look good inside and out. So it's mostly about repetition. You're training, you're developing skills, you're learning things, you're experiencing what you have to in order for your future self to succeed. Hey, this is Onyx. She's my little baby. I have another baby. Well, I have a couple babies. All fur animals. She's sitting next to me, so I figured I'd bring her into the camera. Once my husband and I were able to push our business enough that we wanted to open a retail store, that to us at the time was how we can stabilize our income and have people come to us instead of going to people. The way we got in was a little crazy. We're literally 20 years old and we were trying to aim for the stars, and we actually got what we wanted to get. Our retail stores were in Westfield malls, which is world-renowned malls. They have malls all over Europe, here all over the US, especially here in California. And I knew if I was gonna do a retail store, it would be somewhere in a nice place with high foot traffic like that, because I do not want to put all my time and effort into something if it's just a bad location. But of course, what did we get stuck in? Analysis paralysis. Analytics are analytics, but the paralysis is like constantly thinking about like, what if this doesn't work? What if? You have to stop and literally just think about it for a second and continue your work. Continue the things that you have to do day by day, because that is what accumulates for your future. That is what gets you the success, the day by day things. It's not, well, if I play my cards right, then I can have this happen. Sometimes it is, but generally you need to play a card and figure out how that works so you can do it better the next time. In the beginning, when they offered us a really, really good deal, at the time it seemed so expensive and so far out there. It was such a big risk to us because we didn't even know if we'd get enough money back, but we had full faith in ourselves to make it work. As soon as we took the action that weekend, we made so much money, and it was like, now we see the future. Now we have a plan. Now we can do this. But obviously, we would not have felt that and gone that direction if we just got stuck. We would have never known that only a couple years later, total, we would have made over $9 million with those stores. $9 million! All because we took action. And despite our thoughts and despite our analytics, we continued to push, and it became a beautiful thing. It wasn't easy. We had so many bumps in the road, but if we let the analytics get to us, how much this costs, and if we're able to even make this, if all these things happen, like what if, we wouldn't have ever known what it would have become. Ever! You might be thinking, well, you mainly teach dropshipping. What happened from reselling to dropshipping? That is a story for another time, but regardless, a couple years after getting into reselling, any business fluctuates. My husband and I decided to disperse our income, disperse our knowledge, and learn as many skills that we could now, because in a couple years we knew it would help us out greatly. And I'm so glad that we made that decision, because my first year of dropshipping, I hardly made any money. I think it was like $6,000 to $7,000. Even though I was developing my skills, I knew I'd be making a lot more if I just continued day by day. But of course, seeing other people with the same product making way more money than me, it just gets frustrating. I get stuck in my thoughts. It happens to every single person. I didn't let it get to me. I kept pushing, I kept trying, I kept failing and failing and failing and failing and then one time it just hit it right on the nail. And from those experiences, failing over and over again, I now know, okay, don't do that. That's what that path is going to lead to. Don't do that, because that's what that path is going to lead to. It narrows your focus and helps bring you to the best decision making because you've been through it already. But that's just me, and that's what worked for me. Generally speaking, when I'm talking about analysis paralysis, I'm talking about those people who can't even start, or who do start but then taper off because they get too caught up in an analytics. Well, I tried, but every single time I did, I could only get 300 views on Instagram. Well, I tried, but all I could do was make a sale or two every so often. Or I couldn't even try because I'm waiting for this to happen in order for me to do this. Well, I didn't try because I'm waiting for myself to get a promotion from my job, because until then I don't have time. Or just analytics you're bringing in to make an excuse. Before all of this, when I had $0 in my bank account, I was working 2 jobs and going to school full time. And it wasn't until I quit those jobs and dropped out of college, fully focusing on my business and taking the necessary time it took to make shit happen. But it only happened through failure. Time goes by so quickly, and if you are not day by day doing just a little bit for this and a little bit for that, it's not gonna stack. You do a little bit and then you taper off, you'll never get to where you wanna be. If you get stuck thinking, I wanna make it happen so bad, but I'm just afraid it's gonna cost too much money. I'm just afraid that I'm gonna lose all my money. I'm just afraid of all these things. You just get stuck and you end up doing nothing. Or you end up putting it off. Well, once I get to a certain point, then I can do it. But what you really need to do is cut out everything that's unnecessary. Give yourself the time to learn and fail, and be consistent with the things that you do every single day that are going to get you there. You cannot predict everything that's going to happen. You might predict something and it goes completely sideways. It might turn out way better for you. It might turn out way worse for you, but at least you know because you experienced it. So if this is something that you're struggling with, if you have constantly been telling yourself, well, I'll start when this happens, or you did try and you kind of just like got overwhelmed with all the what ifs, it's natural, but you have to snap out of it because time is gonna go anyways. It's all gonna pass by anyways. Another year is gonna happen and you might still be in the same spot, but that year you could have like failed and failed and failed and failed. And then one day you might have just hit it. Everything might have just clicked one day, but you decided to put it off another year and then put it off another year after that. So the key is to just understand you're going to fail. It's gonna happen. It has to happen. And if you let one more day pass, it's training yourself to say one day, not today. Once you're able to train yourself to get things done day of, then you're ready. That is what every entrepreneur has to go through, every business owner, every CEO, every owner of a brand. They have to get shit done every single fucking day. Shit stacks on top of each other. It is overwhelming. So much happens. You might be making a lot of money, you might be not making a lot of money. It fluctuates so much. And so if you can't handle the start, you cannot handle when you have all that money, when you have all the income coming in, when you have all the things you want. And I'm a firm believer that you don't get the things you want to have because you're not ready for it. Once you are ready, and you've experienced enough and you've been through enough, then the universe will hand it to you. Okay, you're ready. You've been through the trial and error. You've been through this and that. You can handle it. But no way were you able to handle all of that back then when you couldn't even make decisions. Tough motherfucking love, but it all comes with love and care, because if I was able to do it, to get myself from negative dollars in my bank account, to then making millions from reselling sneakers, to then making hundreds of thousands of dollars from drop shipping, and so many different incomes that I have now. Every single business that I started off so messy. And now I'm ready for the things I'm ready for because I've experienced it. If you like this video and want more motivational talks like this, I'm full of it, okay? But where you can really get the best help is having that access one-on-one with me. I just launched my mentorship and I'm keeping it very exclusive. I know a lot of people say that, but I really am, because I don't need the money from the mentorship. That's not where this is coming from. I actually do want to help people, and if I am going to be there one-on-one, I want to make sure that I give you, whoever it is, the time and attention that you deserve. And let me tell you, I'm worth it, because I've been in business for 6 years and I've experienced all kinds of businesses. Retail, brick and mortar, drop shipping, fulfillment. We got a clothing brand between my husband and I. We finance our money. We've been through it with taxes. We've been through it so much financially with all of our businesses. And so I've been through a lot of shit, so that way whoever I teach doesn't have to go there. They can learn through my experiences. And everybody's journey is different. I mainly teach dropshipping and TikTok shop because both have very low cost to get started. And those are two things where I've made the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. So I wouldn't teach something that wouldn't be that. If that's something that you're interested in, check out my business Instagram or my personal Instagram. Check out the link in my bio on this page and it'll take you directly to my landing page where you can apply to book a call with me one-on-one, so we can figure out where you are, how to get you started, how to get you up and out of there and on your own. Thanks for listening. I'll see you for the next one.